Hi, I'm Lorraine. I'm a consciousness coach, and today I want to talk a little bit about this idea of feminine energy. You know, we've gone through times in all of creation where we've gone through feminine and masculine energy driving us. And we've been in kind of masculine energy for a long time. And as I think about that, I have to stop myself because there are some cultures that are really driven more femininely. And we're not talking about gender. I'm not talking about gender when I talk about this. I'm talking about just this flow of energy. And it really is on a continuum. You know, we think of feminine and masculine on polar opposites. But really, what we're talking about is this I'm talking about this continuum between feminine and masculine energies. And, you know, they meet in the center. So there's no such thing as one or the other. They really meet in the center, but we've got gradations of it happening. And if we are ever at one end of it or another end of it, then we're imbalanced. And so what I see happening in 2020 is we start to see the emergence of the feminine energy. And it started before 2020, but we're going to see it and we're going to feel it more during this year of 2020. What's that going to show up like? Well, feminine energy is very strong. It's a different strength than masculine energy. Now, one of my programs is called Manifestation Mastery, and I totally believe that we create our own reality. We create our opportunities. We create we create where we are at this moment in space. You have created everything that you have, that you are, that you've done to this point in your life, and you will continue to create beyond this point. Why do I say that? Well, because the feminine energy is about creating. Feminine energy brings forth life, right? And of course, not all on its own, but brings forth life. Feminine energy is nurturing. Feminine energy is about unconditional love. Feminine energy is about striking, understanding where a balance needs to be held, and being able to be mutable, being able to flex to make that balance happen. Now, again, it's not at all about gender. It has nothing to do with gender. There are females that have a lot of masculine energy, and I have been told that I have that. I do that at some points. I tend to be very direct about things, and I have less of a tendency now, but there's been times in my life where I really push to make things happen, as opposed to sitting back and letting things unfold as they need to. You see, that's a difference there. Masculine energy is making this happen, and the feminine energy is let me sit back. I've put things in place, let me sit back and let things happen. Right? It's kind of like respecting the energy of nature. You know, for example, feminine energy, right? Women in particular, and I am grounding this in the gender to make this point. Women, every month we are reminded of the energy of nature. So in 2020, what we're going to see is a reemergence of feminine energy. We're going to start feeling that. It's a lighter energy. It's a softer energy. And we're already seeing some transitions from the from the masculine energy to the feminine energy. And a lot of what we're seeing in the world today with the anxiety and the anger and the frustration, is just really, it's growing pains. We are shifting from a reality that we've understood to another reality, and that is evolution. That's the definition of evolution. We are experiencing it in a very quick way, and it's throwing some people off guard. And if you are an empath, and I'll give you my definition of an empath. An empath is someone who has the ability to tap into another person's energetic field. And because they can tap into another person's energetic field, they can feel what that other person is feeling. Sometimes they can think, they can kind of truly read another person's mind to some extent. Empaths can tell when somebody's not being honest with them. Empaths also end up picking up energies from people around them. I know if I go to a grocery store sometimes and I come back angry, I've probably picked somebody's energy up, and I need to clear that. And I'll do another video on empaths and clearing energy and protecting your own energy field. But I talk about empaths during this shift because as empaths, we're picking up a lot of that frustration and concern, anxiety. We're picking up a lot of the energy that's happening around us during this time of transition, during this time when people are just having a really difficult time with the shift as it's happening. I believe for some of us, we are illuminators. That's what I've come up with the group that I work with. We are illuminators, and so we are picking up all the stuff that's out there, that's planted amongst humanity, and we're picking that up and we're grounding it. I work with a group of people, and what we do is we ground it to the earth's grid, because then that energy gets grounded much like a lightning bolt, so that it doesn't do harm on the earth. It gets grounded into the earth, onto the earth's light grid, and then that energy gets transformed to something that is helpful for the world. So during this shift, I believe that the illuminators, that's what we do. And so then on the other end of it, we are picking up this energy and we're grounding it, and we are also casting light onto humanity, into the world, to dispel all the shadows, to dispel all of the heaviness that exists in the world. And because when you're in a dark room, whenever we're in a dark room, we hear a sound and we don't know what it is, we can't identify it, and it causes more concern and maybe more fear. And at night we hear noises and our imaginations can go wild, and that's kind of what's happening in the world right now. To a large degree, humanity isn't understanding what's happening. The changes are happening too quickly. We feel like we don't have any control over it. So there's a lot of blaming and a lot of anger, a lot of anxiety, a lot of confusion. And so the illuminators pick that up. I believe that is the life purpose of an illuminator. And their empaths have many different roles. Illuminators is just one of those roles. And so what we do is we share the light. We are light bearers, and we share the light, focus it out onto the world to dispel all of the heaviness and bring comfort. And we kind of just illuminate things so that they're a little bit clearer as we do our own walk, our own spiritual walk, as we move through this journey of eternity. So I share this with you to bring hope that everything's happening as it should, and that as we move into this age of the feminine, what we're going to see is things are going to get softer. The energies are softer. If you are an empath, you're going to sense that. The energies are softer. We still have a role to play in helping to clean up some of the energy around it, but we've come through a shift where things are getting softer, and they're just going to continue to get softer. And for empaths, things are going to get a little bit easier for us. We still have to maintain our own energy fields and be respectful of that of others. But I do believe that we're moving in a direction that's going to become much easier for humanity to handle. And our roles as illuminators are more important at this time as we move through this evolution into whatever it is that will be. So thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, please leave them for me. I will get back to you as soon as I can, and I do my best to answer each and every question. All right, until next time, spreading the light.